Good morning, everybody. It is earlier than what I normally do, but I'm taking this opportunity while I can. I am happy to be out here this morning. And this morning, my word for me and for anybody who receive it is opportunity. Opportunity. Taking that opportunity when it comes. In order to take those opportunities, you've got to be more of an optimist than a pessimist. That optimist person sees the glass half full instead of half empty. And I read somewhere where somebody said the optimist sees the pessimist sees the difficulty in everything, and the optimist sees the opportunity in the difficulty. So you have to decide which one are you going to be. Yes, we've got some challenges going on right now. And I have all kinds of people trying to tell me about the news and tell me what they see in the news and these political arguments and all of this stuff. I don't even get into it. And you can say I'm naive, you can say I'm whatever, but I feel if the Lord don't keep the city, the watchman watcheth in vain. And whether we do it or not, whether I do it or not, or you do it or not, he has says, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then will they hear from heaven, and, we'll get our land healed. So I don't get into that situation on the news, because those guys will have us all up in arms, and then they'll get together for dinner at night. Those same ones that are on there arguing, Democrats, Republicans, and all that, and their families getting together at night, and we're all out here in a panic. So I don't get into that kind of stuff. I am optimistic because I know who ultimately holds the key to everything. And I was reading the other day about another situation that kind of keeps me optimistic and not looking at so much of what's out here in the news, because the news will have you discouraged. Can't think of it right now, but if I can remember it, I'll get back to you. But I want to tell you about a story of some people who took an opportunity to make changes in their life. Now, this is not just for you. This is for me. This is for me, and I'm thankful for everybody who's joined. Pastor Terry Hill, Ayanna Clay, Damon Knox, Homeboy, Graduate 79, Forest City, Arkansas. All right, I want to tell you about these lepers. In 2 Kings, I think it's 7:3 through 20, tells you about these 4 lepers. And now leprosy was a bad illness. It was like AIDS when it first came out. Everybody's scared you touch them, you're gonna die or whatever. It was that bad. And these people were outside the city because they couldn't come into the city. They got, if you were found with leprosy, you got excommunicated because it was contagious. And so they were about to die because they didn't have no food, they didn't have good shelter, they didn't have anything. And so they said one to another, why don't we go to the city and beg for some food? Because if we sit here, we're going to die. But if we go to the city and ask them for some food, we might get it. And so they moved towards the city. And on their way to the city, God was working on their behalf, because their footsteps were amplified, and they sounded like horsemen. Those Egyptians, that Egyptian army and the Hittite army, they sounded like them. Those must have been some powerful brothers back then, because their footsteps sounded like them. And there was only 4 poor, pitiful lepers, and you can imagine they were skinny because they hadn't had no food. And so on the way there, the Syrians left all of their gold and myrrh and all the stuff that they had. They left everything that they had because they heard loud footsteps, and it was nothing but God opening up opportunity for these 4 lepers, and also taking care of another situation that had happened prior to this scripture. But anyway, It was amazing. It's some breathtaking views in some of these backyards. But anyway, it was amazing. And those people ran off and left all their gold. So when the lepers got there, they was just going to beg for a little bit of food. But they got all kinds of opportunities because they were able to go in there in the tent and take some of that gold. I mean, the people got so scared in Syria when they heard that loud noise, they left everything, their clothes. They threw off their clothes. They threw off everything. And so those people got so much stuff, they had to go back to their king, because even the lepers had a king. They had to go back to their king. And they took the whole city. I guess they went back and got all of this leftover spoils. I'm just showing you some of these beautiful backyards. They got all the leftover spoils. And it was amazing that those lepers were taken care of. But why were they taken care of? Because they got up and took the opportunity. You know, sometimes you have to take the opportunity when it comes. And it's not going to always be there. And you have to be prepared for your opportunity. Because if you're not prepared for your opportunity when it comes, it will look ridiculous. You will look ridiculous. And I'll tell you, most of what I talked about is what I experienced. Because I was on the radio one time. Excuse me. I was given a talk about the 3 bears of business. The 3 or 3 pigs, I can't remember. Three something of business. And I can't even remember which story it is. But anyway, it was about, maybe it was the little pigs. Because their mom had sent them out into the land to make their own way. She had done all she was going to do for them, and she sent them out to make their own way. So one built his house out of straw, one built his house out of sticks, and one out of bricks. And I had compared it to business. A lot of times when you're thinking about business and thinking about your opportunity, some people won't do it correctly. Maybe they'll go without a business plan. They won't market after they get the business plan done. And then one person will do it all and they'll be successful, and you'll be wondering, why is that person successful? So I was telling that story on the radio, and a big communications firm from Atlanta, one of the biggest ones in the world at the time, had called into the station, and they were listening. They were on hold while the general manager got on, and they said, "Who is that on the radio?" And they contacted me to be on this nationally syndicated show. And they wanted a copy of my book. They wanted some information about me, a picture. And I sent them a homemade picture that I made at home, and a copy of my book that I had published at Kinko's. Did it myself. All of this unnecessary stuff that wasn't professional. And they said thanks, but no thanks. And that's what happens sometimes when you are not prepared for your opportunity. So I say, get prepared for the opportunity when it comes. Because if you're not, then you will look ridiculous. Because you never know when that opportunity is going to happen. Now, for those 4 lepers, man, they got their life turned around. And they didn't even know how it was happening. I will say, you do not even have to see it. Just make the steps towards it. You don't have to see it. I think Martin Luther King says, take the first step. You don't have to see the staircase, the whole staircase. But if there's a first step, just take the first step and watch it come. Now, I'm not saying do things blindly. I'm saying get as much preparation as you can, but take those opportunities as they come. Well, I've got some more walking to do, and as you can hear, I'm somewhat out of breath. But I need you to help me as an accountability partners, even though I feel I'm doing this on my own at this point. And if nobody is out there listening, I'm excited about being up and doing this again. Some of you have seen my successes and failures with this. I'll get my 100 days in, and then that's it. So I don't want to do that this time. But, you know, I am trying to definitely make a difference in my own life and maybe encourage someone along the way. And that's what these 100 days are. I've already laid out a lot of my words for the day. So if you join me each morning, I'll have a word for you. Alrighty, y'all have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. There's no sense in me giving my website, because if I do, they're going to cut it off. So I'm going to say you can find me 24/7 by Googling Barbara Babby Wright. Have a good day. Bye.